Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to this, your February 1st through February 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. Please stick around all the way until the end and have your yes/no questions prepared. At the very end of this video, I will give you an opportunity to present a yes/no question, ask it in your mind, and I will then pull some cards and we can see what comes up for you. I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. If I consult with a psychic, a tarot reader, or a counselor, I expect full authenticity from them, and therefore that is what I put out into the world. As you can see behind me, the weather has changed from being absolutely frigid to pouring down rain. Fun times. Always fun to have winter in North America. Okay, Sagittarius, let's get started. Now, last month, you had a really, really exciting reading. I'm just checking my notes here. We went from accountability and some responsibility, taking responsibility for your life, admitting when you were actually responsible for things, to letting go, to creating something new. I mean, your reading was all over the place. So let's dive right in. Where are we going first? We are going over here. We're going to have a look at where you are at now. So the where you are at now cards present the energies that are hovering around you and influencing you as we go into this reading. So as I'm doing this reading for you at the end of January, with the purpose of looking into February. All right, so we have the Two of Swords here for you. And the Two of Swords is a card of needing to make a decision. All of the twos in the tarot are about making a decision, but the Two of Swords in particular is about making a decision based on blind faith. You'll notice here that the character is blindfolded. And it's about needing to make a decision without having all of the answers first. Most of the time when the Two of Swords appears, it's because we need to make a decision from a very mental or from a brain state, an intellectual mind, not making decisions from the heart. This is a time when you need to make a decision by leaving the emotions out of it, Sagittarius. So let me just tap into your energies for a moment. Sagittarius. Whew. You guys have a lot going on right now. From work and upheaval, although I am sensing that there is a bit of a calming happening, I do feel like December and January were pretty eventful, shall we say, with regards to your money and financial situation. And things are calming down, but they're perhaps not as calm as you once would like. Relationships. No, I'm not getting that this is relationship for the majority of you. I do feel like what's coming up is that for many of you, you are looking towards making some pretty big changes in 2024 for yourselves. And these changes involve not one specific area of your life, it involves your life as a whole, right from the foods that you want to eat, to the exercise, to the amount of sleep you're going to get, to the job, to the boundaries that you're going to keep or hold, to changes in the dynamics of your relationships. You have made a commitment this year, Sagittarius, to make changes. And at this point, going into the second month of the year, and yes, I recognize the argument of the 12-month calendar versus the 13-month calendar and so on, but just bear with me because for the vast majority of people, February is the second month. So as we go into the second month of what many perceived as a new year in January, there's some internal conflict going on within you about whether you've possibly bitten off more than what you can chew with regards to the changes that you want to make. I'm getting the sense or the feeling that there is a sense of overwhelm on some of your parts and a sense of, oh my God, I'm not sure I can change this much this quickly. I'm here to assure you that you probably can if you had made up your mind to do it, but you may be hitting a few hiccups and a few speed bumps along the road. So let's move into what, no, I'm getting called to this one. Let's move into what you're actually focusing on. And this may bring some more clarity to what I was picking up for you intuitively. Yeah. All right. So we do have some cards that have popped out here for what you're concentrating on. And the one card, I can only see one of the cards right now, but it is the awareness card. So let's start from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying before I pulled the cards. Um, we have the Seven of Wands here. The Seven of Wands corresponds to the Seven of Fire. It is about feeling stress. It's about feeling overwhelmed. It's about feeling like maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew. You're trying to juggle too much. You're trying to make too many changes and too many shifts all at the same time. That moves us into the awareness card. Now, you'll notice here on this particular card, you have the shadow of this character in behind. This card represents the shadow of the old self, letting go of the old self so that you can bring in more awareness of who you truly are in the background there. And really, if you're coming from this stress and wanting to move into this and this more awareness, what you need to do is prioritize, is what I'm really, really sensing and feeling. And again, you've got the Two of Swords here, and you've also got the Ace of Swords coming in. Now, the Ace of Swords is called the consciousness card from this particular deck. It is about an awakening, and it is about bringing in that awareness that some of the decisions we need to make come from the mind, from the mental, from the brain. Some of the decisions we need to make come from the heart. And sometimes we need to make decisions on blind faith. So, what you are focusing on going through the first half of February is stress and that sense of overwhelm. And have I bitten off more than I can chew? Because what I really want is a greater awareness in my life. I want to let go of the past. I want to climb out of the shadow self, and I want to emerge as something more beautiful, more pure, more solid boundaries, more true to myself. That's what I want to do. And in actual fact, what you are moving towards is a higher awareness or a higher consciousness, bringing your consciousness into awareness that things are not always as they seem, things are not always earthbound. This is fascinating to me that you are moving into this, and yet there are still earthbound or earthly type difficulties that you're going to have to tackle. And I think really, Sagittarius, what's coming up for me is this. And I think this is the decision. There's this, okay, I'm awakening. I have more consciousness. I have more awareness with these two cards. And yet, damn it, I still have to go to work every day and pay my mortgage. That's one of the conflicts that I feel is coming up for you. But as you move into this greater awareness, I do feel like you will find solace in it at some point, but it is a transition out of the old energies and into the new, and you're going through that at this time. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, absolutely. It's quite uncomfortable. Is it something that you can overcome? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's move into difficult influences and challenges. Difficult influences and challenges for Sagittarius. I think we've already touched on difficult influences and challenges for you. Really, I mean, you know, you have to get over thinking that you've decided to change too much. Bite it off into smaller amounts. Don't try and change absolutely everything all at once. You've got this. All right. In your difficult influences, sheesh. In your difficult influences, you have the Justice card. The Justice card is about bringing in balance in your life. And so, this card coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that there is something out of balance. And that's what I have already said when you're reading, in that you are caught up in this stress, caught up in this wanting to awaken into higher consciousness, higher awareness. Often that brings creativity. You want to spend more time reading your books. You want to spend more time painting your paintings. You want to spend more time doing crafty, artistic things, meditating. And yet you still have to go to your everyday job and pay the bills. It's about finding that balance. And when you find that balance, things become better. You have the Three of Swords here. The Three of Swords is a difficult card to begin with, and then having the Three of Swords come up in your difficult influences, it's indicating that there is something emotional that you need to let go of. When you let go of it, things will improve. I do want to say here, I'm going to go back to this Two of Swords, that you have a decision to make, and the decision needs to be made from the mental mind or from the brain, from the intellectual side. And it will be easier to make the decision from the intellectual mind when you remove your heart from the decision. I want to say that some of what you're going through right now, Sagittarius, is not uncommon for people going through a spiritual awakening, for people who all of a sudden just say, my life is not working for me and I'm going to make changes. And that awakening and that realization that there's more to life than what we've been told. There's more to life than just waking up and going to work for somebody else and getting a paycheck and wanting to buy a house. There's so much more. So let go of, for many people right now, and I do feel like it's for you, Sagittarius, what you're holding on to is the emotional attachment to the fairy tale that we were told. The American dream. You want to go to school and you get your post-secondary education and you get an amazing job and then you find your partner and you fall in love and everything is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns and you have 2 children and a dog and a white picket fence, and isn't life beautiful? How many of us are still attached to that? Emotionally attached to that vision that we've been sold? But we're waking up and going, wait a minute, there's more than that. There is so much more than that. I really sense this is what you're feeling right now. You are awakening into higher consciousness and awareness that there's so much more. But as you're awakening this, you're getting pulled in 2 different directions. You've got the Eight of Swords here. You're feeling like you are bound. Notice the hands are tied together. You're feeling like you're blindfolded. This is your second card of being blindfolded, Sagittarius. 2 cards in one reading of feeling blindfolded. Having the Eight of Swords come up in your difficult influences is kind of like a double whack to the brain right now. The Eight of Swords is about feeling trapped. It's about feeling like your boundaries are being stepped on. It's about feeling like, oh my God, I can't get out of this. What can't you get out of? Oh, right, you can't get out of this dream and this fantasy that we've been sold that really isn't real. Can you escape from this? Yeah, absolutely. Because coming up as well, you have the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is about new beginnings. It's about seeing things from a different light. The Page is a little bit naive and wants to strike out and try new things. This came up in your difficult influences. So I do believe that this is what you really want, but you're kind of bumping into it going, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. See, you get where I'm going here? I think that the Eight of Swords could possibly be named an excuse card. Oh, I'm trapped because I have to go to work. Oh, I can't get out of it because I have to do this. Oh, I am obligated to go out and serve. Are you? Look at the stories that you're telling yourself, because this card coming up in your difficult influences is saying that you want to move, that you want to change, that you want to shift. But you yourself are keeping yourself trapped because there is some deep inner belief type work that needs to be done. And when you do that work, Sagittarius, a boom, that's when you're really going to move into this awareness. Next cards that we're going to pull are going to be messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. All right, we have 2 cards out. Let's take a look. Everyone has value. Everyone has value. When this card comes up, it's an indication that sometimes we're dismissing somebody because we feel like they're not high enough on a pedestal. Like, oh, what can the homeless guy on the street teach me? I'm sorry to use that example, but there's a lot of people that walk on by somebody who's living on the streets because they have no respect for them. And yet we can learn a lot from a lot of the people who have gone through some pretty damn tough times. They can teach us a lot. Everyone has value. Be careful of your judging others, especially when you're on this path to moving into greater consciousness and greater awareness. You absolutely want to ensure that you are placing everyone on the same level and giving everyone value and really listening to what everyone has to say. And the other message that you have is kindness counts. Kindness counts. I can't add anything to that. All right. Let's take a look at your unexpected. What's coming up for Sagittarius for unexpected? Let's have some good cards here. Yeah, unexpected. Well, that explains a lot. We've got the Four of Autumn that's jumped out for us. That explains a lot of what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. I'll get into that in just a second. All right. 2 kings. 2 kings. Unexpectedly. And the 2 kings that you have both represent financial aspects in a very good way. But in order for you to actually step into a financial windfall and accept your leadership role, accept the assertiveness that you are meant to be having, keeping and holding boundaries and so on, you have to leave this I'm blindfolded, I am trapped, I don't have any control over my life mental state of mind. Okay. This is about stepping up and stepping into your power. 2 kings, the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Wow, Sagittarius. In your unexpected, this is absolutely beautiful. Both of these indicate positivity. Both of them indicate your financial situation is going to be A-okay. The King of Spring, also known as the King of Wands, may also indicate that you may have a mentor or someone coming in who's going to help to support you, who perhaps has already been through some of what you were going through, and they can support you through this. And the King of Autumn over here, also known as the King of Pentacles, he is extremely assertive and he knows his boundaries. So make sure you know your boundaries and hold your boundaries. Now, you have the Four of Autumn as well. Four of Autumn corresponds to the Four of Pentacles. This card is a card of make sure that you are balancing your budget. As I said, you've got 2 kings coming up, and both kings represent financial abundance. But in order to have financial abundance, you also need to have fiscal responsibility. You still need to make sure that you don't have more going out than what you have coming in. The other message of the Four of Pentacles, I like to call it the coveting card. And herein may lie part of the problem. Let's go back to this Three of Swords over here. And the Three of Swords, what I picked up for you psychically is that you are still attached. You still have an emotional attachment to the fantasy that we've been sold that we are supposed to, live the American dream. Grow up, buy a house, have a great job, sunshine, rainbows, etc. But you're waking up and realizing that there's a lot more. But what's happening, and I believe that this may be partially holding you back from your growth, is that as you have decided to make a whole bunch of changes this year, you're looking at people that made those changes a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, and you're looking at those people and you're going, oh my God, why aren't I there yet? You're not there yet because you're just starting out. Okay? But when you compare yourself to others, you diminish your own value. Sagittarius, don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare your path and your journey and your need to let go of certain things and your need to embrace new things to somebody who may have been walking that path for 20 years. Yes, this card, the King of Spring, is indicating that somebody may be coming along to mentor you and help you, but don't compare yourself 100% to their path or to where they are at on their journey, because you guys have not walked in the same shoes. This is what's coming up, this big lesson. And when this lesson is learned, that's when things are really going to shift into this awareness and consciousness that's coming up. Let's take a look at your final general overall outcome. Okay, go over here. Final general overall outcome for Sagittarius, and then we're going to get on to your yes or no question. All right, one more time through the deck. This deck hasn't been used for a couple days, so Sagittarius, final general overall outcome for Sagittarius. Anything else? Yep. Okay. All right, so Sagittarius, let's take a look at your outcome cards here. You have the Knight, be brave and honest, and you have the Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. Okay. So at the beginning of your reading, it was showing that you had a decision to make, and the decision needed to be made from a very mental mind, intellectual state. At the end of your reading, as you've moved through making some changes, some shifts, no longer blaming, no longer letting go of an emotional attachment, all of this work, as you've moved through 2.5 weeks of February, you're moving into tapping into your emotions on a deeper level and beginning to make decisions from the place of the heart. Okay? And again, be brave and honest. You have the Knight here. You also had 2 kings come up here. This is indicating that there's a lot of masculine energy. Now, the masculine energy tends to be less intuitive. But then you have the Water Guardian coming in saying, tap into your emotions. All of this masculine energy here with the Knight and these 2 kings is indicating that some of the changes and shifts that you're trying to make at this time, Sagittarius, you are coming from such an intellectual place that you are not allowing some consciousness and intuition and awareness to flow. So allow things to flow with the Water Guardian. I want to also point out, when the Water Guardian appears, make sure you're staying hydrated. Not formal medical advice, common sense. Keep yourself hydrated, especially when that card comes up. All right, Sagittarius, let's move into your yes, no question. You may wish to close your eyes as you ask your question several times in your head, in your mind's eye, whatever works for you. Yes or no for Sagittarius, please. All right, there we go. All right, we do have your card, Sagittarius. Are you ready? Are you ready? Sagittarius, in response to your question, your answer is let go. Let go. Okay. Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying all the way until the end. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. It really does help me to build the channel and get these messages out to more people. Also, if you are interested in booking a private consultation with me, my contact details are down below. I would love it if you would allow me the honor of doing your next reading for you in the middle of February. Thank you so much, everyone.